Let's be honest. India's obsession with show off culture is becoming a disease. Not fashion, not ambition, but a disease. And do you know what the most dangerous part in all of this is? That we've normalized this across the board. Every Instagram story, every wedding, every fresh EMI, all of it is one giant performance, an act, a performance that India cannot afford. According to India's financial stability analysis, India's household debt has skyrocketed, and most of it comes from consumption loans, not business loans, not housing loans, not education loans, but consumption loans. This means the Indians are literally borrowing money to make themselves look richer than they actually are. And as this debt rises, the average household savings have plummeted by several percentage points. This means that instead of saving money, our youth is swiping credit cards. This is how deep the rot goes. Now let's talk about weddings. I know it's a very touchy subject, but it needs to be addressed. India's wedding industry reports that an average Indian wedding costs somewhere around 36 lakh rupees. And I'm not talking about some filthy rich people. I'm talking about middle class. Even the poor spend several lakhs on their weddings. It's crazy. This means the Indian families are taking 10-year loans to feed hundreds of people who won't even be able to tell what they ate at their wedding the very next day. And the worst part in all of this is everybody knows that they cannot afford this. But the fear of log kya kahenge is much stronger than logic, math, and even dignity. Because in India, success is not a goal, it's a costume. And a rented costume at that, paid for with credit. Show off culture doesn't simply empty bank accounts, it empties futures and it empties lives. Now let's talk about the flex factory. That is social media. Do you know that Indians have their very own comparison torture chamber? It's called Instagram. The goal of every single picture, every single story, every single vacation on the app is just to make you feel bad about yourself. Is to make you feel that your life isn't good enough. It's propaganda designed to make you feel like your life is trash. And it's working. There are enough studies that show that heavy Instagram usage directly leads to low self esteem and a feeling of social isolation. In some cases, it leads to anxiety and depression as well. And it's no surprise because you're comparing your real life to somebody else's edited one. You're comparing your day to day existence with somebody else's highlight reel. And most of it is fake. Now let's talk about luxury. Do you know that the luxury goods market in India is exploding? And it's not because Indians are making a lot of money and they've become rich overnight. It just means that we've bought into this consumption culture. It's because everybody has decided to become a performer. It's all one big performance, where one person performs and everybody tries to keep up with the performance, all the while pretending that it's real. According to market analysis, India's luxury segment is expanding, fueled by aspirational consumption. People are renting villas and bungalows for photo shoots, expensive cars for reels, and even designer clothes. People are renting designer clothes for just one photo. One, because influencers aren't influencers anymore. They're brokers of insecurity. Everybody's pretending, and everybody else is trying to keep up with the pretending. That's what's going on. Social media didn't just make flexing easy, but it also made your own shortcomings, your own insecurities measurable. Likes, comments, shares. Your ego literally now has an analytics dashboard. Isn't it interesting that everybody on social media is happy and living their best possible lives? How is it possible? Because in real life, pretty much everybody looks stressed. Now let's talk about families and marriages. You see, in India, people don't have weddings, they have stadium events. Because here, marriage is not about two people, but rather it is an advertisement, a public advertisement about the family's financial worth. And this is where the show off culture hits its peak. Families literally bleed money. You know, a lot of them sell gold, they mortgage their houses, they take loans. Why? Just to impress your neighbor. Now, just because your neighbor's daughter had an expensive wedding, you must have one too, right? And the funny part is, these people will literally walk up to you and then lecture you about financial responsibility. Yeah, we're supposed to learn financial responsibility from these people. And this wedding pressure is just as bad for women, by the way. Indian women face a tremendous amount of ornamentation pressure. Jewelry, clothes, makeup, everything has to be perfect. Because if Sanjana is not wearing the perfect fit, she'll be the topic of gossip for the upcoming several years. And all of this for what? Ego? Social validation? Revenge? Indian weddings, Indian marriages, they're never about union. They're about insecurities. In the race to look perfect, everybody in this country has forgotten what matters the most: peace of mind. Now, here's the uncomfortable part a lot of people are not willing to look at. Behind every flex post, behind every luxury lifestyle, there is somebody who is exhausted, insecure, and drowning in anxiety. UNICEF data highlights that 1 in 7 Indians aged 15 to 24 already show signs of anxiety and depression. 15 to 24. This is the youth that we're talking about, the future of our country. Our youth is stuck. It is stuck because our families force this show off culture onto us. Our influences exploit our insecurities. Our society worships physical appearances, and our economy is ruthless, merciless, and unforgiving. This exact show off culture makes people afraid. It makes them afraid to be seen as less, which is precisely why they keep buying things they don't need to impress people they don't even like. It makes people scared to say no, to say that no, I can't do this, we cannot afford this, let's skip this. Our people overthink, overwork, overspend, and eventually burn out, all the while trying to live a lifestyle that was not theirs to begin with. India is a country where people will gladly go into depression just trying to fool everybody else, just trying to pretend to be happy. It doesn't matter what you're going through: financial stress, mental health breakdown, relationship breakdown, or even social isolation. It doesn't matter what's going on the inside, because on the outside, you're supposed to look perfect, flawless. There can never be anything wrong with you. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the real cost of the show off culture is paid here, inside your mind. Now that we've yapped about this problem all this while, it's imperative that we discuss the solutions and fixes as well. Because right now, India doesn't need more flexing, it needs more fixing. India needs clarity. Now, the first solution to this problem is on a personal level. We need to understand this fact that it's not very smart to buy things that you don't need with money that you don't have to impress people you don't even like. I mean, if you're paying for something with your credit card and a shit ton of anxiety, it's not exactly a flex, is it? Build an emergency fund, budget realistically, and please don't use lifestyle as your personality. Influencers will never show you reality. So, we do it ourselves. Share unfiltered wins. Share even the losses. Share your mundane moments too. Share your actual budgets. Talk about your problems. I know doing these things on Instagram may seem counterproductive because there are a lot of trolls over there. But if we keep collectively lying to ourselves, we aren't going anywhere. And we also need to talk to our families, our loved ones, the people around us. It should be okay to say that I don't want a lavish wedding. It should be okay to say, I just want my loved ones, my close friends, my family members to be there. I don't want to feed 600, 700 people with money that I don't even have. See, I'm not against people spending on their weddings. Please spend all you want. But you're spending on your weddings with money that you don't have. You're literally borrowing money to flex. You see the problem here? We have to learn to say that this is out of my budget and I cannot afford it. We have to learn to say no. Prestige should come from values, not venues and possessions. So what we actually need is a cultural shift where people are no longer afraid to say the small weddings are actually better than the large ones, the lavish ones, where small birthdays with a handful of people, close friends, family, is way more invaluable than any corporate event. Real friendships will always be much more invaluable than the fake online ones. Now, the responsibility is also shared by the both of us, you, the viewer, and me, the person who made this video. We have to normalize showing real finances, real struggles, the real pain that all of us go through. Who are we trying to impress? Who are we trying to lie to? Indians will legit lose their minds when somebody has a valid criticism of our country. People see things with their eyes every single day, yet they shamelessly defend it. It's not going to take much for us to change. But the thing is, are Indians willing to change? Do they even want to change? And the most important question of them all, do they even love their country? Because right now, India doesn't need fake perfection. What it needs instead is real honesty. Because in the world that's obsessed with showing off, showing up becomes an act of rebellion. Showing up for your mind, for your future, for your country. I'll see you soon.